All right, everybody, welcome back here to another episode of Beyond the Drop, episode 25 today. I mean, before the stream, Josh and I talked about like we do this show now for 25 straight weeks already. So excited for the next 25, and we have VeVe in the house. Great to have you here, and yeah, we will definitely have a great stream because we will have Josh, tell us about the agenda today.
Oh yeah, nice little message from VeVe earlier on, which is nice to see. So what's going on, guys? But for today's show, we got community posts we're going to start with. I want to announce a little app that I've been working on. It was kind of like a side project that came out of nowhere. I was testing a little feature and then it kind of turned into a little app. So I want to show that. We'll cover some Grail Watch. We have Corey from VeVe joining us. So we have an interview with him. We'll ask him a bunch of questions. And then we'll round things off with the Q&A. I don't think we're going to have time for the mini game, but if we do, we'll hop into that as well. So,
yes, sir. All righty.
And we got Bulldog in the chat. What's going on, man? Jan, make sure to cover yours as well. So,
yep. Huratan, this is actually live, my friend, because he is asking in my chat if it's live or pre-recorded. We do Beyond the Drop every Monday at 1 p.m. EST, but is it EDT now, like the summertime, or am I wrong here?
Still EST.
Okay, but 1 p.m. EST. And because like we are an international community and it's sometimes like a little tricky, here are some other time zones. So yep, definitely live, and yeah, it's great to interact with the community through that format.
What up, Doc? Made me think of Looney Tunes for a sec there. We need those on VeVe too.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
You want to hop right into the posts?
Let's go. Yeah, that's a post by Comics and Crypto that McDonald's is doing trading cards. I think that's pretty cool to see that they are trying to I would say use trading cards as a marketing tool, because we later take a look at a clip from Gary Vee on another topic, but Gary Vee also talked about how like big brands can utilize like collectibles to get eyes on their products, etc. And McDonald's definitely a big player. I mean, obviously. So pretty cool to see. And it's like a little bit like the I would say phygital aspect that VeVe is doing also goes, like from my understanding, kind of in that direction. So yeah, pretty cool to see. But it's just in the UK, I guess. Yeah.
Card packs in the UK right now. So McDonald's is releasing trading card packs in the UK. Each pack can unlock prizes like free food, merch, and more. But the real chase, golden Ronald McDonald cards, only 10 exist worldwide and comes with a $10,000 prize, pound prize. How much do you think these gold cards sell for on the open market? They look really cool.
Yeah, definitely. But I honestly, I have no clue. What would you say? I mean,
yeah, I have no idea. It's got me thinking about I think it was the Van Gogh Pikachu. I think it was Van Gogh, right?
Yeah.
There was a gallery in Amsterdam or somewhere in Europe was doing it.
Wasn't it wrong? Or am I wrong here?
Say again?
Wasn't it London?
It might have been. I can't remember where it was, but
guys, if you know, please write it in the chat.
Yeah, I believe they were given out for the people who had tickets to the event or something like that. They weren't hard to acquire.
Yeah, they were free, I guess. Kind of free if you attended.
So I can only imagine what something like this could go for. Only 10 exist worldwide. They're hard to get.
Yeah.
And they come with a 10K prize.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Pretty dope. Yeah, cool to see. I think cool to see that like big brands branch into collectibles way more. Oh, and Huratan here in my chat. Thanks, Jan. I like the show. I am a physical collector that is new to VeVe. I am here to learn more. And he also just bought an Avengers 1 5.0 from Heritage auction. And Huratan, great to have you here. It's really cool to see that you're open to like a new medium of collecting and that you're willing to learn. That's awesome, buddy. And congratulations also on the comic you bought, man.
Yeah, so the next post here we have, actually, let me go back full screen. So we got a light up C-3PO from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, sold for $1,058,400 tonight at Prop Store. That was on the 25th. It marks a record for the fiberglass head, and this is the only original head from Empire Strikes Back to hit the market.
Yeah,
so
I think it's just crazy how much money is in collectibles overall. And I mean, obviously, like the Star Wars IP and that character specifically is like extremely famous, obviously, but still over $1 million. I think that's just
the original fiberglass head. Something like this nowadays would probably just be 3D printed, but the amount of work that went into something like this for those movies, it's crazy.
Yeah, also like, I mean, the story behind it, that it was actually used in the movie, etc. So
yeah,
that's pretty dope.
Now, speaking of movies, we covered this last week. I'll breeze past this one, but the new Spider-Man trailer now hit 1 billion views. It's the first movie trailer to hit 1 billion. And yeah, it looks like this movie is going to be huge. So
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so here's the clip with Gary V. So I think this one's going to be interesting especially to anyone who's new to digital, because he kind of talks about how the term NFT, for a lot of people who aren't too involved in the space, kind of just, they think it's a fad, right? It came, it went, it's not going to come back, didn't work, it was a scam, those kind of things. And he kind of, he talks you can hear that, right, Jan?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Can you guys in the chat hear it when he plays it?
I'm sharing my screen on both. Let me try it again, 1 sec.
No worries, buddy. I mean, John, hello, my friend. Is there an announcement today? Yeah, we kind of announced like our third co-host today. really exciting stuff, and I hope.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try.
Yeah. Oh yeah, now.
You do?
Yeah,
You're
but
not.
pretty quiet here on my end. I don't know how it is for the views.
Ow.
Uh-oh.
How about that?
99% are going to zero. This is Web 1.0 all over again. 99% are going to zero, but it will rise like the internet and that movement. And this is a crazy stat. I think like $50-60 million worth of NFTs were bought in the last 60 days. That's an insane, exactly. Literally, and this is
Listen to that again.
I think like $50-60 million worth of NFTs were bought in the last 60 days. That's an insane, exactly. Literally 99.9% of people watching this right now think the whole thing was a fad. Yes. Numbers don't lie. Digital collectibles. You know this. Collectibles is exploding. Bitcoin, a solid asset.
Collectibles, guys. Digital collectibles.
You go to Golden's auctions or eBay, trading cards are going crazy. It's a recalibration. I think digital collectibles, aka NFTs, are very, very interesting long term. But I view it similar to the 60s in contemporary art. in, Andy Warhol, Basquiat, like hot, crash, and then slowly but surely the big ones, Jackson Pollock. So I build V-Friends, my Pokemon Marvel. I'm building it every day, disciplined, focused, with the hope that 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12 years from now, it's one of the 10 that made it out of this era and was a meaningful collectible.
Boom. Well, it looks like we have our guest backstage. You want to bring him up actually now, Jan?
Currently, he looks kind of chill. We can do that. Can you give me like at 15? I want to highlight one comment from my chat before we do. Huratan asked, Jan, did you like Die Spinne comics? I'm considering buying some German versions of Silver Age classics. Huratan, honestly, my friend, I'm definitely not the right person to ask that kind of stuff, because I actually got a little bit into collecting like 3-4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, when I found VeVe. So I'm pretty sure you will find some really knowledgeable people in the community, in the chat, that can tell you more about that comic or like German comic culture, but I'm definitely not the wrong guy to ask that. But yeah, I guess there will be definitely some community members who could help you out with that. So yeah, alrighty, Josh, let me quickly do that. And yeah.
Okay. Why don't I highlight one more post then from the community while you do that, and then we'll bring them up. Boom. We had another Donnie sell in the community. I think it's another one. Donnie 41, 42, 43, almost 2 million burned in a single trade, gone. So yeah, another high ticket collectible. And then I believe we'll cover that in a sec. Oh no, I'm thinking of something from last week then. But yeah, we had the Donnie. So good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me switch full screen here. Or no. Boom. Sorry for the close-up, guys.
Could be worse, my friend. Could be worse.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jan, you want to cue the intro, and then I'll bring up our guest.
Oh, yeah. Give me a sec.
Whew. Fancy. You don't just come on this channel. You get a swaggy cutscene hype intro, and I'm here for it. How you boys doing?
Doing well, man. Friend. Thanks for taking the time to come on the show. Got the new background and everything.
Thanks for having me. I knew you invited me, and I missed the last one. I've been feeling like a big bag of trash for it, so hopefully I can make up for it.
Oh, you're good
today.
You're good. The community is super excited to see you, man, because we've been getting lots of comments about how people haven't heard from you for a little while. So we wanted to get kind of your take on what's been happening with VeVe. And I know I mentioned to you how I saw your quote in the Avatar blog talking about the snap to grid or snap to location feature and just the future of what that looks. So do you want to maybe start with that and just kind of talk about what you've been up to?
One thing before we jump in, Corey, honestly, your new setup looks killer. That looks so dope. Really cool.
It's just, my desk used to be where that Omni One VR system, that's one of those ones where you walk in the little thing and you can like play Skyrim and Fallout and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I moved my desk over here whenever I got fiber drilled through my basement wall.
But still, that looks like a dream man cave there. I mean, for Josh, there need to be a few cars in the background, but it looks so cool, man.
I built it with these two hands. There used to be nothing down here. It was just a big, giant open basement.
Oh man, yeah, that was just what I wanted to say here. That looks absolutely fantastic, man.
Well, yeah, what have you been up to lately, man? I don't think you've been promoted, haven't you? You want to talk a little bit about that first?
I've been promoted. Yeah, sort of like the head of brand and engagement. Essentially, a bunch of teams basically have merged together, just allow us to be a little more cross-functional, builds a lot of pathways between other essential teams. At a lot of normal tech companies, sort of your marketing and your product and all these teams work in concert with each other. That way you're all pushing larger things together at the same time, as opposed to, in marketing, you're like, I've got this great idea that customers are going to love. And then someone from that team then goes to the product team. They're like, so the marketing team's talking about this idea that they think customers will love. And then that team's like, yeah, but the boss has got us doing like 40 other things. It's not really a priority. A little less of that crosstalk with some of these teams merged together. It's allowing us to really start to pump out updates faster and do kind of cooler features and stress test new things, throw the spaghetti at the wall, see what you all like from a collecting perspective, see what you all hate, and then try to pivot from that as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's pretty much where we're at with all that.
And I think we have some new people in the chat. So do you want to maybe just explain like what your current role is at VeVe right now and kind of what you take care of?
For sure. I'm the head of brand and engagement at VeVe. Prior to this, I was just the head of content. And essentially some of the teams have merged together. I sort of shepherd, take care, and lead a team that creates most of the videos, if not all of the videos, the graphics, the in-app graphics, blogs, SEO, basically everything with the exception of like growth marketing, which would be like paid ads, paid media. Aaron and affiliates is in growth marketing. But yeah, pretty much everything under marketing beyond growth is under my purview. I just got the coolest people on the team. We really have a lot of fun.
You're crushing it with the blogs, SEO stuff, but even like the video quality of like the collectible promos are getting better and better. You talked or you mentioned the word feature a second ago. Do you want to maybe just talk a little bit about the new snap to location feature and kind of where that's heading? Yeah,
snap to location is just one of many new features that we're rolling out. And this one of the big charters as we go into 2026, we're already almost 4 months into it. 4 months tomorrow. What is it? The 30th of March. Some big months coming. But one of the big charters for the company this year is encouraging play, but also encouraging the way that you share that play. And so it's not enough that people just buy and sell and collect. We really want to encourage people to interact and then make that sharing sort of an enjoyable thing. AR right now for me is kind of one-dimensional. It needs a little bit of an update, and we'll be seeing that coming here in the coming weeks, in the coming months. We're going to have some big updates to AR, but a lot of it's built on, we really want you to be able to experience collectibles over a long period of time. And that's an advantage that you only really have with digital. Like if you look behind me, I've got like Hulk up on the shelf there, Darth Vader's there, Thor's there. But beyond them just sitting on a shelf, and tourists would be like, you shouldn't have even taken that out of the packaging, Corey. You've hurt the resale value, right? It's like the beauty of digital is that we want you to play with your stuff. But as anyone that's used AR on the platform knows, we release dioramas and we're like, put these things in a diorama and take pictures and it's going to be so cool. And then you're trying to do that in AR and you're like, you're making the diorama bigger and you can't select the collectible and vice versa. Yeah. And it becomes this thing where you're like, you know what? I ain't got time. Like, I don't have time to keep trying to place these things in AR. Like, whatever. I had an idea for a picture. I was going to share it on socials. I'm just not going to do that now because this is not fun. And that's not what VeVe is supposed to be. Like, your collecting experience should be enjoyable. So all Snap to location does here, let's use props. All Snap to location does is whenever two things pool into proximity, you're going to see spheres around them. You saw this in sushi cars. If you already are a collector on VeVe, we love you. But you'll see this feature in sushi cars, and then they'll merge together. What that allows us to do is start building larger showcases which will encourage you to want to have a diorama, because it's more than just having a location to lock a thing to. The act of locking a thing to something can even unlock more features, right? So the initial concept was, let's just make sure we can get Snap to location to work, right? And even with sushi cars, that was a brand new feature. It didn't work out of the box for, I want to say, Android or Apple. One of the sides was having issues just getting that to work in general. And so step one, making sure it works consistently, is enjoyable, and people want to use it. Step two, how do we take that to the next stage? How do we make that something that, you know, you're going to want to do every time you collect something? It's what the whole Phoenix 5 series is sort of built on, is a snap to location display. Because how else do you do that, man? Like, you in the real world, what do you buy a plinth, and then you're basically able to buy a few things to put into the plinth. My son collects Pokemon, and a lot of the Pokemon collectors, it comes with like a plexi kind of glass base, and the cards have stands that kind of lock into it, and you can put 3 in, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It looks kind of like, here's my wife and I as a Pokemon card. These cases stick into a plinth display that holds 3. So my son has a bunch of those all over. We want to provide that same thing, just make it way easier.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight that question as well. Pretty smart question. So will locking be available to all collectibles? Could I add a Superman to any snap-on diorama, or is it specific collectible to diorama?
There's like 2 parts to that question. So is the diorama in question based on a very specific IP? So Phoenix 5, for example, the Phoenix 5 diorama is very specifically Marvel IP, which is thus owned by Disney, right? And so they're not going to let you snap a DC collectible into a Marvel. Now we at VeVe are doing our own IPs now. You're going to see us starting to roll out more and more of our own IPs. Some of them are fun things and like celebratory things, like you see with David and Dan, which we call the dads. You know, take that with what you will. So the dad series, right? But VeVe IP could also be different sort of plinths, displays, things that give you a little bit more utility and functionality with your collectibles. So something like that, you know, you can snap whatever you want into it. But if it's very specifically a base for a very specific thing, we got to respect the IP, right? Like, they're letting us license these things out to give to all of you. We got to remain amicable and play by the rules.
Yeah. And I don't know if you just mentioned it. I was kind of looking at my other screen for a second there. So are you guys going to be working backwards on the old dioramas as well? Like, is this going to be applied to dioramas that have already dropped without the snap to location feature?
I don't want to speak to that directly, but I will say we can go back and make adjustments to past things.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to be careful not to promise anything. Be like, yeah, absolutely, we're definitely going to go back, and someone clips that, and they're like, well, Corey said in a interview 4 months ago, and it never happened. That guy's a charlatan.
Yeah, and we still got people asking about the big announcement.
Yeah, and I mean, we have the #1 clipper and breaking news guy here in the chat with us, so don't spoil too much.
I will do my very best.
I have a question on the AR stuff, because like in my interview I had with David like a couple months back, he specifically said like that AR is definitely a big focus for you guys at the moment because of the shareability, and people like directly and straight understand what VeVe is about. Is there like, I mean, you've said that there's more coming than the snap to location feature. I guess you can probably not speak about the other things that are coming.
I mean, I can talk a little bit since you're asking about AR. Like, I can give you some examples of goals that we're working towards, but just keep in mind that none of these are tacit promises that I'm making, right? And so some of the goals with AR is obviously updating our AR technology to reflect current cell phone technology, right? Like, our AR functionality has been updated over time, but there's been some big advancements to floor scanning, wall scanning, and face scanning that are built in standard to most cell phone experiences. And so that is a big update that we should be seeing this year. And then the other one is really your ability to share directly from app out if you so choose. And so that's sort of a layer of separation that currently occurs where you take an AR picture. It doesn't look that great because our AR tech isn't the most up to date as it could be. And then it saves with the VeVe watermark on the bottom right. And then you take that into your phone and then you post. It becomes like a whole. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier with Snap 2 location solving a problem, to where what we don't want someone to do is be like, I want to do this thing. And then it becomes so hard to do that thing. And attention spans, as you both know, and content, it's like you got seconds. Like, you got seconds to make it easy enough for a person to complete the loop. If there's even one barrier for a lot of people, they're like, whatever, like, I'm done with this, right? And so with something like AR, we want it to be, you take the picture, it's an enjoyable experience. The thing places as you would expect. If you want to do it as a selfie, you can. And as soon as you're done with that, you go down to share, like literally any other app in the world, and you pick whichever social platform you want to share it to. And the loop is completed, right? Like, you've completed the loop. If any of you have been to a VeVe event, and if you have, we appreciate you, you'll see that whenever people come to booths and they experience VeVe for the first time, that AR enjoyability really is a selling feature, right? And you'll see
that's what got me in right away.
100%. And you'll see like Ben Dixon, Mr. Falcon, right? I've been working with him. I have him as basically a retainer on my team. It's why I focus on AR promotions, because in my eyes, a promo video, I love a good promo video. Lothar, it's my primary video editor. If you're watching this, I love you. I love your work. But my issue with a promo video for a new person that has no idea what this is they see that video, and honestly, without cuts of AR added to it, they don't quite know what this is a promo for. They're like, is this are these video game clips? Like, are these assets for a video game? Like, is this like a self-made thing? Is VeVe like a media company? Are they making like budget films? We need AR. Like, you need that visual reference to connect the dot. And so that working flawlessly in apps just got a big priority for the upcoming year.
Another question on that point, because maybe it's just on my end because my phone is old as hell, but like the quality of the collectibles, if we do like, for example, AR pictures or AR videos, like there's a big quality difference between, like, for example, like the VeVeverse. I get that point that it's hard because of like the file sizes, but will like the overall like collectible quality, because we have such high quality collectibles and good looking amazing collectibles, but on my phone it's a little bit blurry here and there, etc. Will that improve as well?
I guess it depends, right? Like, you're always going to be limited by whatever input you're using to experience the app. So, I mean, if you're using a Nokia flip phone to access VeVe, I'm sorry, but your collectibles aren't going to look that great. And that is the balancing act that we have to play, and that our dev team and our product team have to play is, Devin and the production team could make models that would absolutely blow your bloody minds. But if there isn't a person in this world that can open them up and view it, it's one of those things. Like, we have to create a baseline, figure out what the standard usages are for the most number of people, and ensure for the most number of people that they're going to be able to experience. It's no different than like a mobile phone game. Like, if you were going to make an app for a mobile phone game and it only worked on 1% of the very tippy top phones, you're going to get tanked. Your app reviews are going to be like 1 star. This didn't work on my phone. This crashed my phone. This made my phone heat up and it killed my battery in 10 minutes. And that's the challenge. The challenge is finding that middle ground. And the cool thing is that middle ground moves as time progresses because cell phone technology gets better.
I also think that that's part of the educational process, though, for the digital side, because like on the physical side, you know, for like comic artists, they're limited by, you know, what ink colors they can use and stuff like that, right? And the physical collectors who have been in the game understand that. But on the digital side, it's the same thing with like gaming, where it's like you can have a really high quality looking game and you can run that game if you have a high quality system, right? Gamers understand that. Collectors coming into the digital game don't necessarily get that part, I think. So that's, I think, why, it's part of the educational process. But also to your point about the low attention spans, it's, and I think because younger people will definitely understand this digital stuff easier. Did you guys see the video that popped up this past week of a high school teacher in the US teaching with Assassin's Creed?
Yep.
No.
He was playing Assassin's Creed in class, and because those games have quite a bit of actual historical accuracy, he's walking through the game and he's teaching his class, and the full class is engaged, like glued to the screen. And I'm like, yeah, he gets it.
That's cool. I'm gonna look that up. I love that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Assassin's Creed on VeVe. If you're watching this for the very first time, we've got all the classes. We've got my favorite, which is Black Flag. It's like my favorite of all the AC titles.
I haven't played that one yet.
Oh man, it's so good. You hunt you down some sea shanties. You go out on the high seas, pillage the Royal Imperial fleets, take all their gold, all their doubloons.
One IP we were talking about in WebV yesterday that we need is Warhammer, and you got me into that game.
I wish, man.
I don't know the last time you played that, but they've done a big update and there's like a whole new Space Marine you can play as, and game mode and everything. Anyways,
it's so hard. There's so many people modding that game right now. Anytime I see footage, I'm like, is that game footage, or is that like a mod? Like, I don't even know.
Wes says the phone is limiting the quality. The collectibles actually look a lot better than what the phone shows. Yeah.
And it's sort of a testament to Devin and the production team. That's the artists and the designers and the sculptors, is that they've been doing this now for 5 years. And so you're going to be hard pressed to find digital representations of IPs that are better than VeVe's that still can run on a phone. Like there isn't too many others. Not that I'm dragging other digital collectible companies, but in terms of the quality produced that's still functional, cross-functionally across, 95% of cell phone technology, you're going to be hard pressed to find better collectibles visually than you do on VeVe, especially in AR.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jan, do you want to?
Thanks, Corey. It means so much for many of us to hear from you. Getting up to, sorry about that, everyone. I've just been. If anyone works with me, like I'm just always working. Like when it comes down to it, I put in crazy hours because I love this stuff. I just got a team of people that love this stuff too. It's a really good time. As an employee at VeVe, we have so many exciting things coming out this year. Some really amazing IPs, some really cool feature updates. You got Dan Crothers, COO, who's really stepping back into production or into product. And so a lot of his things that he's wanted in the app are going to start coming to fruition because he's just going to go in there and make it happen. Dan's a beast. That dude, like 24, 48 hours, just completes things that were supposed to take like a month. He's like, I'm going to do this all myself over the weekend. Like, awesome, man. Love it.
Yeah, he's very hands-on. VeVe Zombies asking, when's SpongeBob?
I mean, we got Ren and Stimpy. I thought you all were going to buy Ren and Stimpy like crazy. I was like, blast. Is that too old for you two? I'm 40. I'm going to turn 41. So Ren and Stimpy's my jam. It was like the show that whenever I went to my grandma's house, because she had cable, I had an antenna because I live in the country. So I got like 4 channels. But whenever we went to her house, they had old school Nickelodeon, and that Ren and Stimpy, my parents would go like, what are you watching, son? None of that. That don't look safe to watch.
No, I don't know that. The cartoon that my grandparents would put on VHS was the Wallace and Gromit.
Ah, dude, Wallace and Gromit claymation. It's really, really good.
Yeah, my grandparents are from the UK, so I think that was a UK show. So.
Crackling toast, Gromit. Yeah, you wouldn't. The VeVe zombie asking about SpongeBob. You wouldn't have SpongeBob without Ren and Stimpy. It's kind of like Ren and Stimpy opened the door stylistically and story to things like Rocco's Modern. It's Rocco's Modern Life, and then Ren and Stimpy. How's it go? It goes Ren and Stimpy, then Rocco's Modern Life, and then you kind of get Rugrats in that same animation style. And then SpongeBob is sort of the grandchild of all of those amazing things.
I'm gonna have to look into it.
Such a cool IP. I've got those vaulted. Those are slick FAs. Once the curmudgeons like me figure out this VeVe thing exists, growth marketing doing their job, getting more people on, doing the right kind of advertising, they're gonna come swoop that stuff up, I bet.
Well, you know what?
Not financial advice. This is just Corey talking, everyone. All right.
Speaking of the right kind of advertising, though, Jan and I were speaking about your SEO and like the blogs you've been writing before the show. And I like long term, I think that's going to have such a tremendous impact on the project, because I mean, for those who don't know what SEO is, it's how you're ranking on search engines like Google. So if somebody types in a keyword like digital collectibles, VeVe pops up. And yeah, you've been implementing a lot of that in like the blogs you're releasing. So VeVe's popping up a lot more in search terms across the world, I think, right?
Yeah.
Not just
What I like most about SEO, and I think my bosses like it the most, is that it is free, gentlemen. It costs you no money to target keywords properly and use SEO best practices, whether you're making YouTube videos like you're watching right now, or you're writing articles for a blog. At this
runs
point,
24/7 too.
It runs 24/7. And
and
now
also
you've got
like AEO on GEO, right?
There you
You're
go.
also
You got
working
it.
on that. I mean, that will be even more relevant over the next couple of years if someone asks ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, like what's the coolest digital collectibles platform, and bam, VeVe pops up.
Wes, really appreciate it, man.
That's generative engine optimization and answer engine optimization. GEO, AEO is what Boy's talking about there. And yeah, 100%. We're actually ranking really well for that. And that's just a testament to, I've got a copywriter who's super talented, really loves collecting, came from Flesh and Blood, who's actually worked at, have you guys ever heard of Flesh and Blood? Anyone in chat, either of you? Flesh and Blood's a trading card game out of New Zealand. And I actually got turned on to it by a crypto bro of mine back in the day. He's like, there's this new game, Flesh and Blood, TCG. You should, I'm going to get a box of it. And I bought a bunch of cases, booster boxes sealed from him. And then I forgot the thing existed until I was hiring a copywriter and I saw this dude's resume and I was like, oh, snap, this guy worked at Flesh and Blood. And then I found those cases of Flesh and Blood that I had and I looked it up on eBay and they're worth like $4,000. I was like,
oh, shoot.
That was a good decision, Corey. But
wow.
Yeah, 100%. Writing articles with the proper keywords, making sure that it's consumable by AI agents, AI engines, answer engines is going to give you a tremendous boost. At a certain point, the articles we were writing were generating 30%, 32% of the total traffic to the VeVe website, period. Like, and it didn't cost us anything, you know, to do that. And so the other good news with that is you all probably saw the latest SEC findings, which sort of split crypto into different categories. One of those categories, very specific. We have an article, maybe it's out already. It will be. We wrote an article about this, but one of the categories very specifically is digital collectibles. And it's just like, we could not have hoped for a better scenario to transpire than an actual regulatory agency coining and defining the category that we exist in as digital collectibles, like those two words very specifically, because we own those. Like, you're going to be hard pressed to type digital collectibles plus anything and not find a VeVe article. We have spent months and months and months and months building authority and owning those keywords. So now whenever financial pundits and different news entities talk about what that SEC news means and what are these different, like, what is a digital collect? You know, a news agency is going to write that. Like, what is a digital collectible? What companies do digital collectibles? like it should be good for us because we should always be pretty close to the top, depending on what they put in. Specifically, if they put in, you could really boost your SEO too by dumping money into it, but we don't. We try to use our money specifically for growth marketing outreach. But that's such good news. And then the way they define that, in the sense that it's culture, IP, entertainment, like their very specific definition of digital collectibles is such good news for us. It's so cool, man.
Yeah, you guys are right at the top. And then we
typically should be. And if you type in any additional keyword, like if you type in Disney digital collectibles or Marvel, you know, there are obviously other companies who we love, you know, out there doing the same stuff. But we tend to own pretty much everything related to any major IP around the keywords digital collectibles. And again,
VeVe rank.
I know, right? What is that? What is that? But again, as new financial entities discover this news, they try to dig into it and they start doing their own research to write their own articles and form their own opinions. We've already done the work. They're going to type in digital collectibles. They're going to type in these things and they're going to be like, oh man, this VeVe thing's at the top of all of these. What is this? Click. And they're going to be like, Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm. Yeah. Oh, like this is legit. Oh, they've been here for 5 years. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like this is a real thing. Like this is a legitimate thing. And then we've already written all the articles to bolster that. So good news, boys.
Big
I was
waterfall
happy
effect.
When that happened. Yeah, David, Dan, we were all like messaging each other. We're like, let's go, man. SEC doing some good work. Because you always worry. Like an interesting thing whenever you look at a lot of our promotions, there's certain words that we have to avoid visually. So like the word store-bought or owned. And it's because a lot of the licensors that we work with have always been concerned what the SEC is going to classify our digital collectibles are. Right? Are they going to be very financially regulated things or not? And them creating this category, digital collectibles, makes life way easier.
Yeah.
So has VeVe since that announcement, have you guys now been sitting down with brands who are wanting to kind of change how you're going to push their collectibles?
Like the moment this happened, well, first we had to wait for the news to matriculate, right? So the initial post was just here's what they're talking about and here's what they think they're going to do. Then they released like their 50 or 60, I don't know how many pages it was, their actual document. And so now that that's happened, you know, there's David Yu, co-founder, CEO, for those of you watching, may have never heard of VeVe. We are glad you are here and watching. But as David goes out and he tries to work different contacts, establish new licenses, it changes the entire dialogue of how we approach that now. Because a lot of times it feels very speculative whenever you're trying to explain to a new entity, especially one that has legal concerns and massive IP about what is this thing? Like NFTs, that seems really, you know, that seems a little hazardous. That seems like a lot of rug pulls in the past. I've seen a lot of big companies. I've seen Starbucks try to do NFTs. I'm talking from the perspective of a large corporation. A lot of large corporations have tried to do the NFT thing and it hasn't worked out for them. We've never done that. We've never really been like, we're the #1 NFT company in the world. We have always been a premium digital collectible company. We've not changed anything about ourselves. The world and the SEC is now just defining where we exist. And we're just really lucky that they're defining it in the way that exactly was already what we were doing. So
David's like a kid in the candy shop right now.
For sure.
Yeah, and
sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, the transition from like NFTs to like digital collectibles, like the wording. I mean, we've took a look at a Gary Vee clip earlier before you jumped on, and that was exactly what he was talking about. And also like in the whole Web3 crowd or the Web3 space on X, it seems like it's definitely shifting more towards like calling it digital collectibles, because like the term NFT is kind of burned in terms of the masses, I would say.
100%. Whenever we talk at a corporate level or a higher level or an executive level, really whenever we're talking about NFT or crypto, it's really a safeguard as opposed to sort of an exploratory chance sort of thing. And so whenever we talk about VeVe is a premium digital collectible platform with the largest IPs and brands in the world, right? The crypto element of it is really just an authentication factor, which ensures that people aren't going to get rugged. They're not going to get tricked, which is a standard thing in the collectible space in the physical world, right? Like we've all bought something that's arrived damaged, destroyed, not arrived. It's different than what was pictured. Like you just get totally bamboozled. The authentication that the collect chain provides is sort of our foil to that. And so instead of it becoming this scary thing, it's actually a positive thing. And it makes a lot of sense because we've already seen world governments do this for postage, right? Like we've seen stamps in certain countries. I want to say, what was the very first crypto stamp, boys? Was it Switzerland's? What was it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. I'm not 100% sure, but
you all can Google and fact check me on that. But no, in the real world. So before we released what we term digital stamp art, and so that's very specific. It's an interesting thing. Like I love this stuff because it's like I was on the outside before I was on the inside, right? And so it's really interesting to me see how we like navigate these different things. So stamps on VeVe obviously are coming from that government. And that's a really cool thing. Like a USPS stamp is a contract that VeVe has with the United States government because it's the postal service, right? But very specifically, whenever we talk about that, we have to use the word stamp art because you can't actually use those stamps, right? But the very first crypto stamps, if anyone in chat or you guys Google this, the very first crypto stamps were usable. You would buy the stamp and then you also had a digital. So the stamp was a usable stamp and then it was also a digital asset. And so if you look at what the United States Postal Service, and this was circa like a year ago, so I haven't checked this recently, but a lot of postal agencies and world governments are looking at the use of blockchain as a verification tool for postage specifically, right? And that's kind of what we do on VeVe Digital Collectibles. Is the blockchain really is just our authentication tool. It's a promise that you're going to get what is promised to you with that purchase, right? Gives you an instant transaction. You know what you bought is what you're going to get. It's just verification.
Which, with all this AI stuff popping off, is increasingly important now too, because it's even easier to knock stuff off.
You got it.
So,
and it's only going to get easier, right? Like with AI and everything else, man.
I was saying to Jan, I was going to make a little mini game of Flappy Bird, but call it Flappy Burn and burn OMI with it, and just you make that in like 3 hours with Claude. O'Milly's in the chat. What's going on, man? He says, Corey, I remember I should have read this before. Biden staffer was in a space and we asked him if he knew about VeVe X USPS, and he was so impressed VeVe was able to get it.
Yeah, I love I think one of my favorite, I mean, there's a lot of really good USPS series. I think I'm going to be live streaming with O'Milly for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Trop. I think we're playing like Shredder's Revenge. So passive promotion for him. But I think
emoji?
I think
that emoji?
Maybe it's O'Milly or emoji. I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna be on a space somewhere playing Shredder's Revenge on Raphael Drop Day. But I think my favorite series from us is the planets, because the planets released an order of rarity from the sun, which was like a super slick thing. I know those aren't like, it's a weird thing with stamps, right? Like you have that's emoji. Yeah.
I can't game push.
You'd be fine for this one, dude. You'd be fine for this one. It's a button masher arcade game. So there's like there's a joystick and 2 buttons. Even I can do it. Yeah. Those aren't the most historic, but I just think they're really beautiful. Those things look slick in AR. Speaking of AR.
Yeah, this one's really nice.
What else were like collectibles you picked up over the last couple of weeks or months? Any specific ones?
I think I just got here. I'll just pull up and you can scan my code right now and join VeVe today.
Yeah, honestly, I love
Go ahead.
I love seeing like the friend feature with the QR code. That's a pretty cool initiative. And I mean, we had some folks in the community say, "Oh, why is it just 5 gems?" And I'm like, guys, sorry, but that's such a good incentive in my personal view. I mean, 5 gems you can, or at least get like 2 or 3 people in, have 15 gems, you can buy a lot of stuff, participate in a drop. And I mean, not everyone can get like 15, 20 gems for just one sign up. I mean, there needs to be a limit, right?
And it sort of harkens back to the original. For anyone that's been here a really long time, you'll remember whenever we used to have transfers, right? Like you could just send collectibles to each other. And that sort of opened the door to people doing off-platform transactions to huge sums of money, which we would see certain collectibles being used as basically mules to, you know, send money back and forth. But the reality is, for a legitimate person that's legitimately, I go to the barber goes, "Where do you work?" I tell them, "I work at an invisible toy and comic company out of New Zealand." And they're like, "Right." And then I bring up the app. If I was going to send him something to start his collection, I'm probably not sending him, you know, a $100 collectible. I'm probably sending him a $2 or $3 comic if he reads comics, or a cheaper collectible. And so that gem is really just the equivalent of what you probably would have transferred a tangible collectible to someone, or a tangible comic, to get them, you know, in on the game, right?
Yeah.
In terms of recents, these are mine. So I tried to go for Aang twice, and then I had to get Phoenix. So those are my 2 most recents. Man, the Aang pipeline's going to be so cool. I should be careful because I don't even know what all have we released, boys, before I go into that. Like, what all have we released on VeVe? I live months in the futures, so it's like, I gotta be careful here.
The few gems, though, it's like great points. I was just mentioning to Jan too before the show how I bought my first cases on CS:GO. I degened and bought some skins in the game. Completely got wrecked. Like, didn't get anything good, but it was only like $10-15 or whatever that I put into the game, just to get started with buying the skins. Now I kind of want to buy more, but it's a great point. You just need a couple comics to get started, and
that's it.
Yeah, good enough to get the engine going.
All right, so it just looks like we've got the Avatar: The Last Airbender collectibles promo live, and then we've obviously done the Aang drop, and we haven't announced any subsequent drops. Am I tracking, boys? Keep me honest here, because the microchip on my neck will blow, and that'll be it for me, and you'll never get to interview me again.
The latest drop you guys just announced. The latest one is the London Police
TLP
collectible.
Yep, the lads.
The latest one.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? Like, in terms of,
I mean, we
Avatar
have,
or whatever.
Yeah, I think Josh, you had some kind of.
Well, this is the first time we're seeing a drop structured like that.
Yes and
first
no.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, explain.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the first, which came first? Is it Aang or is it the Phoenix 5?
Aang.
Yeah.
So it would be the first then. A big push as we go into 2026 is we want to encourage people that really love a thing to have a reason to keep coming back for that thing. But more than that, we want to make sure when they come back, they have something tangible other than the value of whatever it is they bought and whatever it's trading for in the market, but some sort of tangible tie to a past release. And so with a lot of these product lines that we're releasing, they're designed that if you are rolling a blind box, you have the highest percentage chance of getting the coolest version of the thing, which if you got to keep in mind on VeVe, and everyone that's been on VeVe for a while already knows this without saying, but if you're watching this for the first time, there's kind of like different types of people that collect on VeVe. There's people that collect in the sense that it's just an emotionless, profit-driven venture. That's fine. If you want to do that, it's available on VeVe. We have special editions, we have chasers, we have all that good stuff. But if you're here for the love of the game, for the love of the IP, because you grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and you super dig it, the drop's really designed for you, because cumulatively, as you build along and you continue going into this journey, you're going to take pieces of it to craft future pieces. And so to unlock all of Aang's powers, you have to meet we follow it exactly like you do in the show. So if you've watched the show, we're following it exactly in the same way. You meet friends, and with those friends, Aang learns new things. And as he unlocks new things, he continues to evolve, right? We want to make sure that collecting is more than a one-off experience, because if someone really loves a thing and we're trying to get them to come to VeVe, we need to make sure that we don't just one-off it and they've came here because they like the thing and then we never touch it again, right? Not every single IP is designed to have a huge product line that's going to go on for a long time, but serialized content, absolutely, like whenever possible. So that's a new thing that we're trying out here in 2026. At the very start, I was like, we're trying a bunch of new things. We're going to see what sticks and what doesn't. This is one of the new things. You know, we're going to see if people dig on this or not.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I have to be honest here. I've never watched the show or the movies, so nothing like specifically for me. But like, I think it would also encourage people to hold stuff way longer and don't. I think it will prevent a little bit in terms of flipping people who want to flip and make a quick buck here. So yeah,
for sure. And flipping at the end of the day is tangible profit. I mean, if we were just a heartless corporation that was purely profit driven, we would want people to flip, because every time you all flip, we're getting a secondary market transaction. But this really is for the love of the IP. It's for the love of collecting. We're trying to build something that's a little less shallow and a little more deep. And hopefully, you know, you've never watched Avatar. I'd encourage you to, because I mean, there are certain stories out there that are just pure entertainment, and it just is what it is. You kind of forget about it after the fact. But there are certain stories out there that you watch and it leaves like an indelible impact on you as a human being. Like it's kind of like a parable or something. Like you've taken away a lesson about life. Mm-hmm. And for people that really like Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's the sort of emotional connection they have to the story. And so we really need to honor those people by making sure that we're releasing products that are equal to that experience.
Jan, you got to watch it. It's great.
Yeah, I will, guys. I will.
You've got the live action too. I mean, the live action on Netflix, if you want to not watch, I think it's 9. I don't know how many episodes there are. There's quite a few for the animated.
Yeah.
I want to highlight one comment here from the biggest bro, because like he says it like pretty accurate, I would say. This storytelling structure is a phenomenal change and drops going along with the actual story in building a collectible. It seems that VeVe are giving a love letter to the fans of the IP. Bravo. And I think that sums it up quite perfectly. And also, it encourages him to that you guys will treat other IPs like that. For example, Dragon Ball, Pokemon.
Don't forget Power Rangers. That's a really good one.
Yeah, but I'm definitely more here for the other two. So please,
globally.
All right, let's head back to this question before we forget.
Exactly.
Because he was asking. Yeah, Corey, you see it.
Corey, what's the value prop from a physical comic book collector standpoint? Vintage comic books grow over time, but are tangible. Why collect digital if there's other apps like Marvel Unlimited? Yeah, 100%. Like with Marvel Unlimited specifically, you're obviously not rolling a blind box. It's just a digital library that you're paying a subscription. It's no different than having a Netflix subscription, but you don't own any of those Netflix shows. And you don't own variants of the Netflix shows with special features inside of them. And so a very clear difference between Marvel Unlimited and VeVe, obviously, is that we have a blind box system with exclusive covers that you can only get on VeVe that don't exist anywhere in the world. And those exclusive variant covers aren't just from some goofball on our team that draws comic book covers. It's from legitimate Marvel comic artists like Nicoletta Balderi, Peach Momo, like the top tier artists. So there's the value proposition from if you're a value, collector, you could roll a secret rare, you could roll an exclusive cover, and we don't even know tangibly what the value of exclusive covers will be long term. We're 5 years into this adventure. Right? We're 5 years in this adventure, and the SEC is now just defining what a digital collectible is, boys.
Yeah.
It's how early we are. Like, I know for people that have been here for a long time, me included, it feels like we've been doing this forever. but the rest of the world's just sort of, and even Gary, like you were showing that clip earlier where he's like NFT digital collectibles, you know, they're redefining what the words are. So one
he said recalibrating. That's such a good word.
Yeah, it is.
Such a good word.
I remember seeing a clip of him in like 2008 where he's like, the future of marketing is going to be social media marketing, and everyone's going to be, these corporations are going to use social media to, and that guy's just always been so far advanced in his thinking.
That's my job now.
So with Marvel Unlimited, you're paying a subscription just to read their library, which is awesome, by the way. I have Marvel Unlimited. It's a super great tool. On VeVe, you're able to read using a reader. You're able to read in augmented reality, but you're able to buy and sell whatever variant you get. So on a 5 comic collectible, you get the rare. You could sell that rare for whatever the market value of it is. Long term, it'll never degrade. You'll never lose it if you move 100 times. I was in the military. My wife and I cumulatively were in the military for 16 years. In those 16 years, we moved a lot of times. I collect Legos. You know how many times I've had to put my Legos back together because they got destroyed in a moving box? That's a real thing. Like if you're a physical collector of a high dollar value, the risk to you of your property being destroyed only increases over time. Age and time are your enemies. You want to display that comic cover? You can, but do you want it to fade because of light exposure? So you have an asset that you lock in the back room of a climate controlled warehouse, and is it even a thing you enjoy, or is it just a thing that sits in a safe that accumulates value for you? VeVe's the opposite of that. We want you to maintain the value of your collectibles, but we also want you to be able to enjoy them. We want to keep these stories alive. We want to keep the cultural relevance of IPs like Avatar. Avatar, I'm sorry, guys, the guys and gals that are watching, it's old. It's old news. That came out a long time ago. You've got gray in your beard at this point. If you're like Ren and Stimpy, I was talking about, like, I grew up with Ren and Stimpy. Talk to an 18 to 20-year-old about Ren and Stimpy. They're not going to know what the heck you're talking about, right? People's knowledge of these IPs that are culturally relevant and really nostalgic and important to us is being lost to time. And the only time they're getting retouched is if some gray hair weirdo is like preaching about it on socials, or it gets a live adaptation remake. So the value proposition, in short, I'm a tangent guy. You know, I'm a talker. That's why they pay me the big bucks, I guess. From a value perspective, your comics on VeVe last forever. You can read them as many times as you want. Whenever you go for one, you could get different variant covers, which only exist on VeVe, and you'll be able to trade those indefinitely to anyone in the world at any point in time. That's kind of the other big difference. If you're a physical collector, one, you need to find a purchaser that is going to believe what you're pitching and trying to sell is true and real. I don't know if you guys have ever done any high level eBay stuff, but it's a pain, dude. Like, take 1 million pictures, package the thing in cardboard, pay the most for shipping, insure the dang thing. It gets there and some goofball's like, product arrived damaged, I want a full refund. And you sent them like a, you know, for me it was like a $800 Pokemon Umbreon or something like that my son pulled, and it was his sale, and we had to go through like a whole thing. We've all had that horse. It'll never happen on VeVe. You want to sell something to someone in Japan while you're taking a poop tomorrow morning, it's just 2 clicks away, man. Like, it's just that easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question, because like also Biggest Bro talks about the VR treadmill in your bag, but my question is a little different. I mean, longer term, we will probably like take a look at our collectibles through smart glasses, etc. Like 10 years out, let's say 10 years out. But there will be something in between, how we will display our collectibles, how we will enjoy our collectibles besides the AR feature in the app. Because we've seen at the VeVe booth, like the cool 3D displays. Is there anything that out in the market that like caught your attention in terms of an end consumer product?
Yeah, what you're talking about is the looking glass displays that we used man, I can't remember what convention that was. And
New
that's wasn't New York. It's so beyond its time. Like even that display itself was a patented, like I can't even remember the specific patented term for it, but essentially creates the illusion of depth. And we're seeing those being used for all kinds of things. We were one of the demo lists for that, so we got kind of lucky with it. But to your point, I think the adoption of digital is going to rely on some sort of wearable that makes it more mainstream and common, paired with things like smart glass in general becoming more commonplace, where you can have an option of your car windshield using smart glass or your mirrors using smart glass and these wearable devices. And man, I think that future is coming. So here's a tangent. My wife makes me go to the VA. I'm a veteran, right? So I have to go to the VA, which is like healthcare. And whenever I went this time, there were signs all over the walls that said AI assistance in use, conversations will be recorded. And while I was talking to my doctor, her laptop talked to us, relaying information about my past medical history. So like whenever I answered a question
like
about
an agent,
like an AI agent, some sort of speaking AI agent that they're using. And so she asked me a question, I gave an answer. And this AI agent that was also listening to this conversation was like, Corey reported in 2014 that this happened with his health. It knew that there was some sort of conflict of information occurring and it passed that. I think we're living in an age where these things are going to become, I've got a feeling they're going to make me as a government guinea pig wear some sort of, my wife has an Aura ring. I don't know if any of you know, like it's this ring you wear and it like monitors your sleep, your body chemicals. Like if you've got too much cortisol, it's like your cortisol levels are high. Perhaps go out for a nice walk in the fresh air. We're steps away. Like we're steps away from that sort of thing.
It makes me think of the reactions you'd get from like my grandparents growing up. Like, what is this phone? Like this, it's when we're older, we're going to be so confused because the world is going to be moving at such a like fast pace. It's going to
And my son only plays video games, right? He has a Switch, he has a computer, he does play games on those, but 80% of the gameplay that he does right now is VR. You hear him stomping around in his room. Yeah, he stomps around in his room. He's got his little hands, he's got his little goggles on, he's doing it. It's all of his friends, all of them, they're all in VR together. And it's cool because, you know, I can see what he's doing at any time in VR on my phone because it's linked. So if I hear him stomping around his room, I can just hit 2 buttons and literally listen to what he's doing and see what he's doing as a safeguard as a parent, which is nice.
That's cool.
But my son's 10. Okay. Now think about my evolution in gaming as someone who was born in 1985. My dad brought home a brick of a computer, literally like this huge box with a keyboard that fell out and the screen was black and it was green. And you put in like 5.5-inch floppies and you had to open like CD-ROM to like input commands. Then computers evolved. I remember Baldur's Gate with 8 discs, like 8 CDs to play Baldur's Gate 1. It'd be like injects disc 3 to continue your gameplay. And then I had my Game Boy, then I had my Nintendo 64, and now, you know, I've got like a VR thing behind me that I play on. I've got my computer.
Oh, Lord.
But for my son,
game discs. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but for my son, he's in VR right now. That is the standard way in which he experiences game. It's his preferred means, and it's the preferred means of all of his friends who are also 10. So what is it going to be like for them? VeVe's been around for 5 years. What's the next 5 going to look like? Whenever my son's of buying age, whenever he's 18, what is his world going to look like? How is he going to interface with digital assets? He buys everything digitally right now. Like even whenever he gets his allowance, he has a bank account that I send it to because I've set up a bank account for him to start building his credit at a young age. Right? He's an employee of my company and he takes out my trash and he sweeps the floor. So he gets paid for that. And so whenever he purchases games, he's purchasing it completely digitally. He doesn't have 8 discs for Baldur's Gate 1 like I did, right? He didn't go to GameStop to get a book that teaches you all the Mortal Kombat fatalities. This is just 100% digital. What is life going to be for him whenever he can buy? And what will VeVe be at that point? that's what we need to prepare for. And that's what we're thinking about as we're starting to restructure the way we're doing business.
Yeah, good. Yeah, moving too fast.
The invasion of Luftwaffe took 7 floppies to load. Man, it's crazy. Prince of Persia. Yeah, that's a good one. Talk about a failure of a movie. Remember Prince of Persia? If we ever get that IP, like, I apologize if you ever watch this in retrospect, but man, that movie.
Yeah, this is a pretty good question. What should VeVe do next to go mainstream? Awareness still feels like the biggest gap. We've talked a little bit about that. Can you pop that back
up so I can read it?
Yep.
What's good, guys? VeVe's growing slow but steady. Exposure from big fans count seems to be bringing in new users. What should VeVe do next to go mainstream? Awareness still feels like the biggest gap. What's happening right now on VeVe is we've never been in a position in terms of the way we collect data, the way our teams are structured, the synergies that exist between product, production, and marketing. And so these product lines, you've got to think of it like this. The way that VeVe used to work is David would sign a license, the license would go to production would make the models, and then marketing would try to sell those models. Now the way it works is a conversation starts with licensors. Now everyone works in concert to figure out what's the best way to package this to the most people. What's the coolest way that we could do this over a period of time if we feel like it has mainstream appeal? Like something like Avatar, you know, The Last Airbender has mainstream appeal. Like there's a lot of fans of that. So doing an extended product release gives us opportunity over opportunity over opportunity. But we talked about SEO earlier. If we write an article about Avatar digital collectibles, we will rank #1 for it within 2 weeks, as soon as it indexes. And so now we can have growth marketing do ads. We can have Aaron and affiliates activate as affiliates. He can reach out to new affiliates using the affiliates agencies he has. And then we have a whole year to continue pulling in new customers. I think in the month, what month are we in? March. I think in the month of February, marketing generated like 1,623 new users. Just in a month with a brand new practice that they implemented. We're just going to see month-on-month gains in new users, and the IPs that we're getting in this upcoming year are going to lend themselves really well to new user growth because we're targeting people that we've never got the opportunity to really target well.
Is it fair to say that some of these brands haven't been promoting the VeVe collectibles because of the regulations we were talking about before? Like, can we expect some of these brands to start doing some of their own ad campaigns?
I can say that that is a conversation that I can't promise anything, but you know, that is a conversation that's currently this news and this definition and the way that things are being positioned. It's going to change the conversation from every perspective. For a company like Disney, whenever we submit a blog article, right, it has to go through a legal team, a cultural team, a marketing team, the IP itself team. There's a lot of widgets, and whenever these SEC definitions were as loose as they once were and it hits a legal team, they're like, we really got. And so if our promotions have to be restricted in such a way where it almost does more harm to promote it than good, then we have to change the way we promote, right? Like there's certain things that if we promoted exactly how we would be made to promote it due to restrictions, it actually doesn't promote well. And I know that because we've been A/B testing this stuff for years now, right? Like we have all this, like I mentioned earlier, our data collection and the way that we're looking at our data and the way we're comparing different pieces of things in terms of growth and reach and clicks and, you know, cost per clicks and all of that stuff. We've never been in a spot like we are right now.
Yeah. So
between the IPs, between some of the new things that are going to be coming to the app, some app enhancements that Dan's been working on with the product team, it's going to be a really, really good year. Great to hear that.
Jan, do you have any questions you want to add?
I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, a lot of us, I mean, you included, have been here since like 2021, and I have to say, from my standpoint, even though you kind of get some critical comments here and there on X or what have you, I think, I mean, like, criticism is not per se bad, and I think most of the time there's like a little bit of of good substance in like the critics the community is providing. But from my personal view, I have to say you guys are currently going in such a good direction in my personal view in terms of Aaron with like the affiliates. We've seen way more affiliates with I mean, we've talked about what you are delivering a lot during the show with like the ranking, the articles, etc. So from my end here, just kudos to you guys. Please keep on building. And I think like the point a lot of people are maybe not getting right is like the fact like digital collecting is currently, in my personal understanding, so uninteresting in terms of the mass market, because so much other stuff is going on in the world right now. So I think you guys are doing like a great job. That was not per se a question, more a statement.
No, I appreciate it. We do appreciate it.
But yeah,
and we appreciate critical feedback as well. I mean, feedback comes in different forms, right? Like there's just completely unhinged lunatic feedback where you're all just like, we hope you all, you know, unalive yourselves and you're all terrible. Like there's that kind of feedback, but then there's critical feedback. And anytime you guys are providing feedback via support, it goes in. This is like a cool thing. We have our head of support, who's just a brilliant guy. I love him. But he put together an AI agent that takes all feedback, and then it categorizes that feedback into which department head would own whatever that feedback is.
Yes.
And it's a living channel on Slack. So
Nice.
anytime anyone puts in any
awesome.
feedback, it immediately automates and then sends it directly to a department head. And it's a mandatory Asana task. So like every day throughout my day, I'll get like someone will be like, this thumbnail isn't displaying correctly, which is great, man, because do you know how many thumbnails are in the app right now? Especially because we're doing product display suites now, which we never did before, where you can have a whole carousel of images for each collectible, which was never a thing before, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And so that sort of feedback's super handy. And then a lot of the really critical feedback that's more of a functionality feedback you're seeing getting incorporated right now. Like, why do you think we're doing product lines? Like part of the reason we're doing things like product lines is because people feel like we're bamboozling them whenever we dangle an awesome IP in front of them. They come to the app to get that IP, and then we never release anything from that major IP ever again. Right?
Yeah.
Or like maybe once a year they get something from that IP. Releases on VeVe are going to be more reflective of what current customers are calling for, what they want. And it's going to be based on sales data, not just sales data, because sales data in itself can be deceptive. Because, you know, our top 25 wallets, if they want, can clean out a drop themselves. Yeah. Is that reflective of the totality of the community, or is that reflective on a value-based decision that the top 25 wallets are making? It's not sustainable to... We love our top 25 wallets. If you're watching this, we love you guys. We love our level 100s. But we want to make VeVe an ecosystem where anyone has something. Anyone that comes here, whether you're into independent art, comics, more obscure comics, artworks, anything, there's something here for you, right? And so that feedback really does change every single element, not just how the app functions, but the actual IPs. It's easy to flame without knowing the background work the team is doing. Yeah, facts. It's facts. But I get that because, I mean, for a long time, I was on the outside, right? Like I was just doing a channel with my wife where I was like, why wouldn't they promote this way? And then you get in and you're like, oh, okay, like if we want to continue doing business with the biggest brands in the world, there are guardrails. And that's business, boys. Like, that's not just like, oh, they're picking on us. This is the rule that every single collectible brand in the world has to follow. Not just VeVe, Hasbro, Mattel. Everyone has to follow that rule. What, we're not going to follow it? Because if they make an exception for VeVe, who do they have to make an exception for? Literally every single licensee that is under the entire umbrella for that product. We follow the same rules that everyone else does. And then our rules are even more strict because of the lack of tangibility of a physical. If you go and you buy Pokemon cards, for instance, right? Like you go buy a pack of Pokemon cards, that's a blind box, right? Like you've opened up a pack of cards, there could be anything in there. You could get a ringer, you could just get a trash reverse holo. You know, who knows what you're going to get. But Niantic's conversation with you ends at that point. You've bought the thing off the shelf via a lottery, a blind box, but now they're done. Like, it's hands off for them. On VeVe, you buy that, you pull the thing. Now that licensor is forever tied to the product for as long as we exist. Even after our contract with that licensor ends, their royalties would not end. And so they have to be really careful in how they approach this, because they will forever be tied to VeVe. Forever. Every single time a secondary market transaction happens, they get their percentage. So they got to be real careful. And that makes sense, because digital collecting, we've been doing this for years and years and years. The SEC is just now figuring out specifically what a digital collectible is. But so imagine these big brands.
But what makes it even more impressive, though, is that VeVe has managed all of the relationships you guys have built while that is being kind of ironed out. Because that's the part about VeVe that's always blown my mind, is how you guys manage so much at once. It's like the rules that VeVe has with this IP is different from the rules you have with that IP, and then you extrapolate it across hundreds of relationships. It's like, how the hell do you guys keep track of that? So
it's tough. And even independent artists are willing to expose themselves to higher level of risks because they're taking that risk on themselves along with us, right? So you see VeVe Korea, we have a really robust, amazing group of VeVe Korea artists, right? They're willing to take more risks, like with the Toby Unbreakable. Every purchase was an entry, but because of that, that's a lottery now. And so we need to make that legal. So we have to create a free entry for people to be able to enter into that. So there's a web forum where you get up to 5 free entries into it. And now we're not breaking any lottery law. Like, there's more to this than I think people realize. And that's great. Like, we want you all to just focus on collecting. We'll make sure that we keep the lights on, that we're doing the right thing, that we're abiding by all the best practices and legal rules and regulations. You all just enjoy it, don't enjoy it, let us know either way, and we'll keep trying to adjust. But just know on the back end, we're doing our very best to shepherd this platform, because we've got a 5-year plan, we've got a 10-year plan. VeVe's not going anywhere. We're just going to keep grinding.
Yeah.
OBL's in the chat, of course, asking about the VR platform in the back.
It is. It's the Omni One. If you Google that up, essentially, way back in the day, I was a Acorn investor. I don't know if you all know what Acorn is. Acorn's like a company where you can invest in companies at the ground level. So if you go to like acorn.com, it's going to give you like a whole portfolio of different companies with their pitches. It's no different than like a white paper for a token. These are just real companies that are doing real tangible things. And so I've always believed that the future of gaming is going to be via a VR upright rig, because already right now, competitive gaming and professional gaming, I mean, there's Olympics for it. Like, countries celebrate their professional gamers. Like, Korea celebrates at a national level their Korean teams for like Overwatch and stuff. Competitive game, more people viewed the 2025 Streamer Awards than viewed the Super Bowl. The audience for professional gaming is only going to increase. And so I feel like the next evolution of professional gaming is going to include a physical component. And so your ability to sprint and your sprint input into the game is going to be determined on your physical capacity to sprint, right? Your ability to aim with a weapon system and a first-person shooter and how quick your reaction time isn't going to be based on a mouse with 5,000 sensitivity. It's going to be based on your ability to put something in front of your face and put rounds on a target, just like in real life. Whenever I was in the military and I was going through, or whenever I was a police officer and I was going through the police academy, they had like a low budget one of these with like big projectors all around you. And it'd be like, you're responding to a bar and there's a drunken disorderly. And so you like walk on a treadmill with this, you've got like it had air inputs. So there was like to a compression hose. So whenever you fired your pistol, air would make your pistol cycle. right? And so you'd approach and you have your bat belt and there's like a baton on it that has like an input, and it has your taser on it, which has an input, and then it has your pistol, which has it. And so you go and you go, I'm Officer Truax with the Goose Creek Police Department. What's going on here? Is everyone okay? And then they input commands into the game system to determine what those people are going to do. And you need to use the right force to combat whatever the scenario is. So as a police officer, your first weapon is your voice, right? And then it goes down from that. I think a lot of modern police officers maybe forget that their first weapon is their voice, but that's actually it. Like your presence on scene and ability to communicate with people is your primary weapon. And then you have all your other ones if things go south. So I've always been aware of that. And I remember whenever I experienced that as a gamer my whole life, I was just like, this is it, man. Like this once it hits mainstream is how people are going to game. So I've always wanted one of those systems. As soon as I saw it as an investment opportunity, I pounced on it. So I got like a pretty gigantic discount on the rig as an early investor. But yeah, it's super cool. Please ask about the London smiley face digital utility token. Isn't that, I would have to look. I don't want to speak out of turn because there's just so many drops, but I believe it's titled the utility coin, is it not? Like utilities in the name of the product?
I'll look it up right now. But yeah, that stuff is getting pretty far. I just saw, I was watching a YouTuber the other day who had a full setup for VR, but he had the same platform that you had. He had the headset, but then he had equipment that would actually like I guess pulse when he would get hit. It would like hurt him a little bit.
A synaptic response system, which you can get a full bodysuit for. But you see like Guardians of the Galaxy, and even the military is using remotely manned vehicles. It's just a matter of time. Like professional gaming is going to be VR based. Isn't it called a utility coin?
Yeah.
So yeah, it has use because it's a utility coin. I don't know the specifics, so I don't want to talk to it without having the information right in front of my face, so I don't false promise you anything. But I do know that I believe was an airdrop. No, wasn't that an airdrop?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are interested in knowing more about the coins, Suye was in the WebV space yesterday. It's on Oz's page and recorded, so you can go back and listen to what he was saying about it.
What do we got? Oh, my wife Slammy. Yeah, Kevin, my graphic designer who came from Discord, I think was the host for that Chicago. There was a VeVe pop-up event this weekend in Chicago. So a bunch of people from our community got together. You should be seeing pictures from that today.
Yeah.
And then I think Kevin's going to put together a sizzle reel if he was. I asked him, I was like, if you can get some B-roll, we'll air your sizzle video from it.
That's awesome. I've been seeing some from the one in Anaheim they did.
Oh yeah.
I think there's actually one they're doing. It's next week or next month in the UK as well. Oz is doing that one. So yeah, that's super cool that you guys are starting to do that.
Well, we have an event specific person now. Who most of you, I think she's out there, VeVe and Magic. Yeah. I don't know if everyone knows her name, so I need to be careful there. But yeah, she's 100% all in on the events. Pop-up events are like a big priority for us.
Like you mean like decons, or like what do you mean pop-up events?
Like Chicago is just a pop-up event. It's just a local event that had enough people interested that we were able to host a location, bring some swags. There's t-shirt, pins, stickers, buttons, a roll-out banner with VeVe print on the back so you can take pictures in front of it with your friends. Just cool little get-togethers. You gotta know whenever we go to an actual tangible event like New York Comic-Con, I mean, that's a like 6-digit commitment from the company. To rent out the space for the booth construction. You're dealing with unionized labor in the United States. So it's like you can't even construct the booth yourself. You've got to outsource to contractors who are union contractors, which are charging you union costs.
Crazy.
So there's a cost benefit return on something like that. And so earlier I was talking about different things we're trying, just trying different things to see how the response is. What about doing pop-ups all over the world all the time, like monthly pop-ups? Like, does that yield us more return than, big bank stuff? Also got to meet what? Nice. Matthew Lambie. Love that guy.
Yeah, Corey, is there like specific stuff we haven't asked you about? Anything that you are personally like really like happy about or excited about is
For
maybe
sure.
the better word?
I think the only thing I can think about, which I'm sure some people watching, and especially Josh there, is the next iteration of the VeVe is being worked on, which I think is going to be really exciting for a lot of people. As you all know, like the VeVe has been sort of in its V1 version this whole time, with not many massive updates rolling out. And so a lot of information's been compiled from a lot of different people on performance, ability to port that to a cell phone. I know Dan and we did a video a while back where Dan was talking about porting the VeVe into the mobile phone. And this sort of ties into what we were talking about earlier, where, you know, for sure we could put it on a mobile phone, but is everyone's phone's just going to turn to 500 degrees Fahrenheit and explode in their hands? And so the next iteration of that is being worked on, and I saw progress from it last night, and it's just going to be, I think it's going to be one of the best moves we've made in terms of having something other than AR to show the utility of what we're providing. Because I mean, AR is a utility, right? Like, it's more than just buying a thing that you could sell. You can place the thing, take pictures with the thing, create with the thing. And the VeVe was always supposed to be that. But I think the barrier to entry for a lot of average people for the VeVe was just too much. Like, if I want to make this shelf behind me, Josh, you know, how many objects would I have to place, stretch, and then
I'd get tendonitis by the time I'm done.
Exactly. just to make a shelf, right? And so we've looked at a whole bunch of different mobile game experiences, lower level sort of desktop, because we are mobile first. It's just by the data, looking at the people that are using VeVe and how many of them are using their mobile phones versus how many of them are using desktops. We're still very much a mobile first platform. And so how do we bring some of the gamification into the VeVe that's going to allow an average person to have an experience that they want to return? And this is my biggest thing, is if I'm asking you as a collector and a customer to do work, to enjoy something, that's like the antithesis of what we're supposed to be. Like, at the end of your hard day of working, you should just be able to log into an experience and be like, this is really fun and enjoyable, and I like all these options, and this is not work. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to put something on TV. I'm going to turn my phone sideways. I'm going to use 2 joysticks. I'm going to put on my headset maybe and talk to my friends, and I'm going to have a chill time and not be like Josh here being like, let me build a shelf for you out of 576 objects. It shouldn't be like that, man. And so the next iteration of the VeVe, I think, is going to be exciting. We should be seeing that within the next quarter or two. That's not a promise, but that's my expectation.
I'm going to be straight up here. If anybody else in the company said that, it probably wouldn't have held as much weight for me. But because it's coming from you, that actually that has me pretty excited, because I mean, you obviously know my opinion on the VeVe. We talked about it, but
it's my primary thing. Like, as head of brand and engagement, my primary thing is ensuring that the collectibles themselves, if you love these IPs, are something you want to return to. AR, you just need to be able to enjoy it. Nothing we do and provide to you should be frustrating. Like, you should just be able to open the stuff and use it and walk away with, like, I have an idea, I want to take a picture, and in 15 to 20 seconds, you've accomplished your goal and you've moved on with life. And now you're reaping the benefits on socials because you've got that cool idea that you had in your head. You had a break at work, so you went out in the parking lot, or you went out to the smoke deck, or you went out to the restaurant. You did it in the parking lot really quick, and you move on with your life. There's nothing more frustrating for me as a person who has been collecting on VeVe for a long time to be like, man, they made this beautiful diorama for me to put this character. Galactus is like my example that I always use. Like, trying to get Galactus into that diorama to take an AR picture is just like an exercise in insanity. It shouldn't be like that. And so big changes to AR, big changes to the VeVe. So I'm excited to
You
see
guys-
those coming out.
What do you think the chance is that we could get Dan in here?
That's going to be tricky. Dan's been gone. They've been jet set. I know David's been traveling for licensors, and then Dan actually took vacation. Dan went on a work bender that was crazy.
So
but I'll ask him. I have a meeting with him.
I'm messaging
an hour and a half
right now. I'm messaging him right now. That's why I was like, because I saw he was at like a wedding or something, and then he was still responding to questions. I was like, this. Speaking of him being a workaholic, I mean that sums it up right there. But Jan, sorry.
Yeah, just a quick question in terms of like the VeVeverse. I know you can't say too much probably, sure. But will there be some kind of AI component in there? Because you nowadays see a lot of like voice to, however you call it, build. I describe it via text, via voice, sure. and something gets built.
We have to be really specific whenever we use AI technology as a terminology, right? So whenever people have, it's kind of like whenever we talk about the metaverse, we need to be really specific what we're defining and what that is. And so AI is sort of the same thing. You can use AI to do a lot of things. Now, is your expectation that the Walt Disney Corporation is going to allow us to use AI to have Walt Disney, dearly departed statue, talk and dance? I mean,
okay, that was not the question in terms of the building side, because you've said it, like in the current version of the VeVeverse, building is a pain.
For sure. Okay. So the way that building hopefully will work, I can't promise anything and I don't want to go into too many details.
Yeah.
But essentially it's going to be using a series of prefabs. Like just like any video, if you've ever played The Sims, or if you've literally played any video game in the existence of the world that has building, like if you're into survival craft, I'm playing a game called Green Hell right now, where you're stranded in the Amazon jungle, right? And you've got to survive. Whenever you build in that game, you have to go through the work of harvesting materials, but it's not like you're placing every single stick and palm leaf independently.
Yeah.
You open up a building menu, and the building menu is like, do you want to build a door, a wall, a platform, a base, a half wall, a windowed wall? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about prefabs to make life easier for the end user, because we just can't have people losing their minds. Like, we just want them to log in and have a good time. And we also want it to feel like an actual experience, which that's been a thing that we've received externally and that we've always known internally, is whenever you log into something like the VeVeverse, it should feel like you're logging into an experience, right? Like it should feel, there should be a splash screen. There should be some sort of intro. There should be like a starting screen UI that makes it feel like you're starting an experience. It shouldn't be like you've logged into a program for work. By trade, I'm a video editor primarily and videographer. It shouldn't feel like I'm logging into Adobe Premiere, right? It should feel like I've double clicked the icon to my favorite game and I'm going into it. And so there's a lot of creature comforts that we should be seeing built into that. Dan, if you can get him on, we'll talk about this, and maybe Devin, because Devin and his team are heavily involved. That's another thing, is in terms of building out the VeVeverse, we've included the people that create the assets in general as part of that building, because there's always been a disconnect between the people who make the assets, like the collectibles that you all are enjoying, and then the place where we put them. And that didn't really make sense. Like, logically, you got people over here building something like for AR or for an in-app bundle, but then we need to make that thing work in this thing, but that's a different team and they don't really talk to each other that much. And so by combining those functions into one, now the moment a sculptor starts sculpting or post-production starts happening, they already have in mind, oh, this is for AR. Oh, and it's also for our environment. And oh, we're the ones that control that environment. It's going to allow us to make sure that everything that gets purchased actually makes it into the platform and it looks how it's supposed to look, with the least amount of a thing that people probably realize. Maybe they don't, maybe me saying it makes it, but every conversation that happens from our business is money. So let's say Devin and his team make a beautiful set of models. Every single time that model goes to a licensor and comes back to us for revision, that's an added cost, right? It's not free to make revision. It's the same thing for everything. Like I send in a video promotion and it gets kept. If it says version 8 at the end of a video package, it means I've had to go back and forth. My team has gone back 8 times. That's increased the cost of that video incrementally. We need to reduce our wasteful spending by making our processes smoother. It's what Dan and David have been doing a lot of great work in terms of restructuring our business operations to reduce the amount of back and forth that needs to happen so we can get the best end result faster.
So, okay, I've talked a bit about that before on the show, but I don't think we've ever gotten confirmation from VeVe. Are you able to answer the following question? Because you guys have gone back and forth with the collectibles between your team and whoever the IP is, there has to be a threshold, right? That you eventually cross and then go, okay, no, it's not worth to even drop the collectible anymore. Has that happened before?
It has happened before, but for the most, so there's different kinds of values. And that's another thing to think about in the collecting space in general. So the value tangibly of having an iconic IP is worth more sometimes than the value of the sale of that IP to a collector. So sometimes the cost might be prohibitive in terms of, even if we sell this out, we're not going to make that money back. But having that IP on the platform is basically a approval. Like, so now we were talking earlier about digital collectibles being defined more clearly by the SEC. And I talked about how that's exciting to me because now financial pundits, news agencies are going to Google digital collectibles and they're going to find us at the top of most lists because we own the term digital collectibles. Whenever they click that and they see all of those icons from all those brands, those icons and those brands being associated with VeVe, officially licensed, sometimes is worth more than just the back and forth transaction that happens between collector and VeVe, right? So whenever we talk about thresholds, it's more than just the dollar cost average that we're going to get from just selling the thing. Like, is this worth the trouble just to have it on VeVe, period?
Okay, makes sense. Jan, are there any comments in your chat that you want to highlight?
Not really. D-Roy is in the chat.
Bro, Suya?
Get the dog from...
Wait, like D-Roy's, like Suya?
Yeah.
Suya.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
D-Roy, hop over into Josh's stream so we can pull your comment up. That would be awesome. Yeah, but other than that,
AI rights of publicity or AI laws on deepfake stand. Yeah, 100%. And I think we see a lot of our affiliates and creators doing that. And that's just a little bit different because there's a layer of separation between us and UGC, user generated content, right? And so the only time that could become a risk is if you're completely misrepresenting what the product actually is in terms of trying to generate a sale. But even so, the liability isn't on us. Thus, it's a layer separated via UGC. Yeah, that is the sort of the risky business with AI. Now, in terms of like text, voice to text and stuff like that, 100%. Like that's just, it's going to be standard practice. Like we already use those tools. I think anyone that's using like a standard, even like Chat GPT already is super familiar. And my son uses that even. Again, like that's why if you're not taking into account AEO and GEO right now, like you're just, what are you doing, man? Like
you're about to get lost in the sauce. Like,
yeah.
Another comment here. Unless there's consent by owner or persons, you can't have AI have IP brands or products do anything you want.
You got it. I'm always surprised that Fortnite and their ability to get skins, because that's like a hard rule for a lot of licensors, is that, and it's the same thing for video games. That's why, like Marvel, for instance, this is like an interesting one for me that I learned as I worked here, is you have Marvel Studios, which is television. You've got Marvel Entertainment, which is comics. And you have Marvel Gaming, which is games. Each one of those has completely different rules. So like Marvel gaming, of course, in the Spider-Man game, you can be Spider-Man, but you can't be Spider-Man as a digital collectible because you can't be that character because it's a completely different brand. It's like there's a lot of IP licensing is. God bless you,
What a
David.
crisscross.
Yeah, God bless you, David, for figuring that all out. Oh man.
That's all the comments on my end. Jan, do you have any questions like on your list at all, or?
No, I mean, I think we are like 1.5 hours in. I mean, we've covered a lot today, and it was like a great update, I think.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm sorry I missed the last one. Just been grinding. Got the month of May coming. You all know what that means. May the 4th. We've got if you're a Star Wars fan, buckle up, buttercups. We've got a lineup for you. I'm stoked. I haven't been buying. No hints, but I'll tell you this much. I haven't been buying as much as I have been because I'm saving up for the month of May. There's some good stuff in there, man.
Okay.
Where are we at? We're at the end of March. Yeah, so you should see a couple promotionals start going out, sort of teasing these upcoming months. These next few months are just going to be wild. It's going to be so many good stuff. Have me back on whenever all that stuff's live, because for some of it, having the additional explainers, Devin and I were doing explainers there for a bit, but as we're restructuring the VeVeverse, I didn't want to keep promoting inside of the VeVeverse whenever the VeVeverse experience might change. Right? It's like, check out this VeVeverse, and then we release like a different version of the VeVeverse. People are like, what is this? But there's a lot of value to him and I having a conversation, I think, in video format to sort of kind of go deeper into the synergies between the collectibles. We had like an avatar behind the scenes video that really dove in deep to the story we were trying to tell, the order in which we were releasing, the mechanics that drive it, and how it all ties together.
Well, Devin is more than welcome to join you on stream as well if you want to pass that invite from us. That's a name that we consistently hear about, but we've never spoken to. So
yeah, he keeps pretty quiet. I know he does his level 100 updates once a month and all of that good stuff. I think the only other thing I'll point out, which is a new-ish thing for us that I want to keep going, and I'd be curious to know perspective. So please use like our feedback tools to let us know. But a big thing that we've been trying to push is the pairing of comics and collectibles. And so for something like the Phoenix 5, for anyone that knows anything about the Phoenix 5, it's not like it's a 12 comic arc that happened like back in 2014. So if you do like a SEM rush search for Phoenix 5, you're not going to find a whole bunch of people in the world searching up the Phoenix 5. But it was a great storytelling mechanism that would allow us to release collectibles over a prolonged period of time. But with this one, we're actually releasing comics in conjunction with the collectibles. So whenever you're buying a costume version of a character, it's not just random. You're seeing the cover because Devin very specifically used comic covers to inspire his costumes. So that comic with her is releasing on VeVe. Like, all of these costumes very specifically have a comic reference that we're releasing in conjunction on the comic side. So pairing them together is just like a cool way of doing that, which is really the first time. I think one time a long while ago, we did a Ghost Rider pairing where we released like the Spirit of Vengeance and a comic. I remember seeing a promotion. I can't remember if I made it or who made it, but it was like a cross promotion where we did the comic and the collectible at the same time. We never did that again. And so with each and every single
you're talking as separate drops? Yeah.
And so for each and every single one of these Phoenix 5 collectibles, because with the Phoenix 5, you're getting Namor, Magic, Colossus, Cyclops, and who am I missing? Namor, Cyclops, Magic. Now I've lost one. Well, for all 5 of the characters, you're getting 3 colorways, and each one of them has a comic pairing. And so you're seeing what comic is referencing that specific collectible. And it's going to look really cool whenever you stage that, because then you'll be able to put your collectible in front of the comic cover that inspired it. It's like a super cool way.
Yeah,
and
that's
Frost,
nice.
thank you so much.
Cool. Beat you to the punch, bro. Phoenix 5 is that's the latest one too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Matthew Lamb says the White Queen.
The White Queen. If you like the White Queen, stay tuned because we got more. Got a whole bunch more. We have a bunch of cool stuff. I can't wait till we get to talk about it as we get closer to it. We have a bunch of really cool stuff this year based on tentpole dates. That's another thing that we're doing is we're trying to work further in advance with licensors to figure out what their tentpole date. A tentpole date would be like an essential date, like May the 4th. That's a tentpole date, right? Like that's a key date. And so we've worked out months and months and months and months ago what we were going to do on May the 4th, right? And how we were going to surround that. And so we have other tentpole dates that are going to launch, which we get to go together with it. It's just going to be awesome.
So speaking of key dates, because a question we keep getting these past few weeks is, do you think VeVe is going to continue doing more of like the movie drops that they, like the Jurassic Park movie posters that they did? There was the Black Panther movie poster. There was the James Bond tickets for the movie. There was a lot of those that seemed to happen a couple of years ago.
Back in the days,
yeah, we don't see them happening anymore. Does VeVe have like plans for that?
Posters in general on VeVe as a collectible category don't perform strongly currently, but with some of the upcoming product lines, you're going to see that we're testing some different ways of applying utility to those to enhance their collectability, and also we're changing the way that you actually visualize and see and experience those. And so we kind of want to test as a company different ways to utilize, because we love posters are a primary collectible from a physical standpoint, like the physical world. Like posters are one of those things where there's a lot of value in them, but the number of people that collect them is actually pretty small. It's a pretty niche kind of thing. Now, in the early days of VeVe, anything that released did well, right? Just because there was a whole separate boom that was occurring. At this point in time, we're really trying to dial in, if we're releasing things, do people actually want them? And we can easily see that with data, right? Like how many people logged into the app, how many people made a purchase, how many people made repeat purchases. And we can sort of base the value of doing that.
Fair. Some of my favorite collectibles on the platform are those posters. So
I like them from a displayability standpoint. And that's kind of the other thing is having tangible means for people to just, one of my favorite promos, I think before I worked at VeVe, was an Ultraman promo, where it was like they had there was like a Scotty Young Ultraman poster. There was like
that's season posters.
1. Yeah, the season 1. And there was a promo video that was done basically like in a subway tunnel. It was like late at night, and they had all the posters floating there, and they had all the collectibles in front of it. It was a super clean promo. But again, can an average person open up AR and easily replicate that? The answer right now is no. Like, it's too freaking hard to group those things. Unless you talk to Ben Dixon, Mr. Falcon, who's, you know, an AR savant. He'll be like, you just open up staging, and then you place them on staging, then you apply the group setting, and then you take the group setting, and then you make a new showroom, and then you take that showroom, and you place it in the real world. Yeah, this. Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wasn't here whenever this one was made. I wouldn't be surprised if this is
that studio from Vancouver.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was like an overlay. Like this is just background with flare effects and a green screen of the collectibles removed, and then overlaying and adding shadows, and then using light effects to blend it into the real world to simulate AR. That would be my, because I mean, this was way back in the day. It would have been super hard to try to group all these. But whenever we can do stuff like this from a promotional standpoint, I think posters have a whole bunch more validity. And then also just dialing in the mechanics in a better way.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you're talking about right there. Isn't there a mess between the photo? Yeah, right here. See?
Yep. It's clean though. It's really nice display.
Good.
Yeah, this one, people often forget about this Scotty Young poster because it's so old. It's the first piece that was from him on VeVe.
You got it.
So, all right. Well, that's everything on my agenda. Jan, anything else you want to cover? Or Corey, anything else you want to cover?
No, I just really appreciate y'all having me. I'll try to make myself as available as I can with the schedule. This is great timing, so I need to hop off in 5 minutes for a meeting anyway. So it's just worked out really well.
Give Dan crap for not coming on.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll let him know.
But no, we'll have him on for another show. But yeah, you're more than welcome to come back whenever. But I'll shoot you another message when more of that stuff is happening around May then too.
Cool.
And then we'll get you back on.
Awesome.
But really, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Of course, appreciate being here.
I'm hyped for the Star Wars collectibles now. So
it's gonna be a good month if you're a Star Wars fan.
Man.
Just like time to save up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll close up the show here, so we'll let you go. And then, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, everyone watching. It was great. Later.
Yeah, take care. All righty. So
that was a lot of input. Really, really cool.
Corey's the man. Corey is the man. There we are. And we're back. Now, I know we said we were going to kind of unveil our third co-host, but do we have enough time for that? Or do you want to just do it next show? Do you want to just
let us do it next show? I think that one was like so value packed. Like, I mean, I didn't expect to have Corey like that long here with us. So that was awesome. Yeah, should we like quickly go over a few like last posts we had before, and then call it a day for this show, and then reveal it next week?
I'm just reviewing some of these posts here. We can skip this one because it's too long.
Yeah, guys, and also please let us know in the comments what were like your highlights from this discussion with Corey. For me, I'm hyped now for the Star Wars stuff. I'm really curious. I mean, in terms of the VeVe-verse, I mean, you and I, we both were like open critics in terms of the current version of the VeVe-verse. But
I gotta be honest though, I had a feeling that might, like, he hinted at a whole second VeVe-verse getting released. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
It makes sense why they've been so quiet around what's currently released.
Yeah. He seemed kind of confident that the second version, whenever it comes out, should be or could be a better fit to what we are all looking for.
I want to talk to Dan now about it. So hopefully we can get him on the show.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. That would be pretty cool. I saw the picture, and I know, guys, obviously it's made with AI, but still a cool, dope looking photo.
Well, this is AI, yes, but he's just
the photo itself not, but the whole scenery, yeah. But the photo itself looks really cool, I think. Yeah.
Other posts.
Oh wait, oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say we kind of ruined the transition already, but you can.
Fuck it. We don't do a transition on this one.
All right, we're up to 407 mil, 406.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing much more to add there, I guess. I just noticed that we have a transition for something that we don't really talk much about. Like, I feel like the transition is longer than the actual.
Yeah. Fair point.
That's Nova. Yeah.
What exactly do you mean, buddy? Any chance you could send the link for the London Police coin info, or is it what you've looked at earlier on VeVe, Josh?
Yeah, it's the WebV or I keep saying WebV. It's the Oz show on X.
Oh, got it.
Let me get the link. Oz. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember when in the show this was talked about. It's somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah, I guess he will figure it out.
Yeah, so I'll drop there. That's in the chat. And then, so we'll let's just do one. Let's just do one.
Yeah, just a little presentation here.
Hey, are you there?
Welcome back. How can I help you?
You know, I'm just very curious to know what the future of digital collectibles looks like. We just had a long conversation with a team member from VeVe and their digital collectibles, and there's a lot happening in the world right now. So what do you think?
The future of digital collectibles is definitely exciting. With advancements in technology and growing interest in NFTs and blockchain, we're likely to see even more innovative and interactive digital assets. Integration with virtual and augmented reality could make these collectibles more immersive. Plus, as more artists and brands get involved, we might see a broader variety of digital collectibles. It's a dynamic space with a lot of potential for growth and creativity.
Fantastic, thank you. We'll come get you next week.
You're welcome. Feel free to reach out anytime. Have a great day.
Yeah, guys. Our new co-host, Josh. Do you want to say a little bit more about that?
First off, just to confirm, did you hear any of that? You heard
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. We heard it.
Probably should have asked at the beginning, but yeah, just a little, I guess, hint at where conversations can go moving forward on the show. I think that bringing in an AI companion or whatever you want to call it, it's going to allow us to dive deeper into topics that it's going to bring up points that Jan and I don't think of ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most interesting part about it. And then, of course, it can answer any questions you guys have in the chat as well. I'm thinking of switching the British voice, but at the same time, I kind of like it. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I suggested Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. Like that, that would be also great.
No, we're keeping it a girl. Okay, so then yes, I did mention mini games in our last show as well. We're gonna bring those in with the bot next show just because of timing. But Jan, anything else?
No, man. I really enjoyed that show today. That was awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll bring him on closer to May again. We'll have him on the show many more times, hopefully. But yeah, Corey's a superstar. I'm so glad we could have him on. But that was today's show. So unless we have any other questions in the chat, we'll wrap it up. We'll be live again next Monday at 1 p.m. EST. And yeah.
Nothing on my end.
Oh, okay. All right. Peace. Later.